Given that we're living in a crazy old world where even Marco Rubio has admitted to being briefed firsthand on the retrieval of UFOs, it's impossible to know almost which way's up. There's a psychedelic revolution. There's a UFO revolution. The mainstream media is collapsing. Its economic model is falling apart. Centralist authoritarian models are doubling down, as we told you yesterday. Elon Musk's real battle ain't with Mark Zuckerberg, it's with the censorship industrial complex. And remember, later this week, we're going to exclusively, you should sign up for this, we're going to exclusively show you, me, Matt Taibbi, Michael Schellenberger, and a very surprising special guest, perhaps the person who's been most impacted by the censorship industrial complex. You're not going to want to miss it. That's on Friday. It was a brilliant show yesterday. Although in some ways it was marred by the conduct of the man next to me, a man who swore he'd never take his top off, yet during yesterday's show did precisely that in a bizarre throwdown to RFK. There's nought as queer as folk, as they say in the north of England, where you're of course from.
I am, yes. Should we get back to the Marco Rubio story?
I never left it.
No,
I've been looking at Marco Rubio. I'm looking at him now. Look at his little face. He's squinting. He's got a very full mouth. What did he call him? Little Marco. That was Trump's Little Marco. But he got a hell of a mouth on him.
You made an observation about the plants inside and outside of his house.
This is an important observation. You don't get distracted, because I know you lot, you think that the UFO stuff's a distraction, don't you? Let us know in the chat. I think it's hypocritical. I think it's seismic. I'm friends with Jeremy Corbell. I believe these whistleblowers are legit. I believe some of this new footage is legit. We're going to be talking about this later in the coming days, about how this story is escalating. But I know a lot of you think it's a distraction. Well, the real distraction in this piece of footage is the plants outside the house are exactly the same as the plant in the house. And the plant in the house is communicating, possibly via UFO technology, with the plants outside the house.
There's your exclusive,
That's
everyone.
your exclusive. Never mind mud wrestling with RFK. Never mind that we're going to have a world-shattering exclusive coming up. Can I even bring it up?
No, I'm not sure
about
you
our
can.
exclusive guest. Can I message
you'll
that
give it away
person? I'll
again.
give it away.
You'll give it away.
I can't do it. We're not ready yet, but you are going to want to be a member of Locals. Press the red button by the time that happens. Let's have a look at Marco Rubio's plants communing with one another.
There are people that have come forward to share information with our committee over the last couple of years. I would imagine some of them are potentially some of the same people that perhaps he's referring to. I want to be very protective of these people. A lot of these people came to us even before these protections were in the law for whistleblowers to come forward.
Sorry, people who have had firsthand.
Okay, so that seems credible. The whistleblowers had addressed him even prior to the story breaking.
Yeah. I guess his point is it's not just like whistleblowers with very little clearance. These are people with high clearance. These are people that he's saying, have been briefed. And that Josh Hawley, another senator as well, said whistleblowers report is pretty close to the information he received in a briefing. That's the one from David Grush that we reported on last week. So more and more people in positions of power are coming out and saying there is a lot of credible sources to this.
They're cross-referencing the data and it's stacking up. That's interesting. Now, also, keep your eyes on that plant. The one inside wants to communicate with the ones outside. And I think it's out of order. It's like when you see a pigeon at a zoo. You sort of think, well, I can just leave when I want.
Now, who claim to have firsthand knowledge of seeing this type of thing?
Or have firsthand knowledge or firsthand claims of certain things. Some are public figures, and we've heard from them in the past. Others, have not shared publicly.
So that category of people who have firsthand knowledge, who say they have actually seen these kinds of things, do you find many of them credible?
Well, I don't find them either not credible or credible because we have no basis about understand.
Statement.
Yeah.
Not credible or credible. Not incredible or credible. Somewhere in the middle of that.
Yeah.
That's actually not achievable. That's
Right.
like a Buddhist koan. What's the sound of one hand clapping? Well, Bart Simpson answered that. But what is neither credible nor incredible is the unknowable, activated nothingness that is behind all material reality. This exclusively from Marco Rubio and his animated plants.
You can obviously see why probably a lot of our audience are talking about this being a distraction. It is interesting that it's coming about at the same time as all the things going on with Hunter Biden and lots of other news stories. Obviously, the situation with Ukraine, the continuing arming of Ukraine through the military-industrial complex. You can see why that's something that they would be interested in.
I got sent Hunter Biden's book. I guess that's why I feel sorry for Hunter Biden. Like ages ago, when he had a book coming out, they sent the book and, would you like to talk to Hunter Biden? And I thought, they can't watch our shows. because like they would know that we are quite critical of the Biden administration. But then I also am conflicted because I know he's a person that's trying to get into recovery and stuff, so I get confused.
But they're separate situations, aren't they? Someone's recovery from, you know, drug addiction is a very different thing to potential tax evasion or bungs or bribery or whatever else it is, or even if it's just using
bungs, bribery, evasion,
right? You know,
guns.
Sure. I mean, guns, I guess you could say in
That's
some ways is slightly, you know,
I gotta have some drugs. I'm gonna need a gun. I ain't paying my taxes. I'm on drugs.
Yeah, but you know, when you're in a situation where, like it's being suggested, he's sitting with his father telling energy companies in China or Russia or wherever, or Ukraine, wherever it is, that they're going to need to pay them for this and that we've got the best access and the Bidens are the best at doing everything. That isn't a situation where we should be talking about the President of the United States. That's too when we talk about Donald Trump being murky and having these deals and having these documents, then we're talking about Biden, who's meant to be the complete opposite to that.
You're right.
This is a very murky and embarrassing situation.
It is murky.
And potentially illegal. I mean, I think that's what we're getting at. These whistleblowers.
This is beyond murk. This is the law. Murk, that's just a thick liquid. A thick liquid or vapour. But this is the law. Stay free with Russell Brand. See it first on Rumble.